Welcome back for another episode of Two Minds, No Limits with Merritt and Brenna. And today we have a special guest, briefly, that's being very awkward. My daughter, Lexi, she's leaving, but she just wanted to say hi to everybody.
Hey, guys.
Okay, love you, bye. Before we get into this week's episode, we're going to kick it off as usual with high point, low point of the week.
You go first while I pull them up.
I would say my high point was that my daughter just got her first job.
That's crazy.
So I'm like a mom to a working child.
Yeah.
It's a little bizarre and crazy. I would say my low point of this week was I literally was going to quit my job. Literally.
Back at it with the work probs.
Yeah. Just probably not seriously, but just it was just stress. Yeah.
My high point was I saw 2 movies this week. Wild Robot. I cried like 5 times. So if you are looking for a good cry, that is it.
I do want to see that movie.
That was so good. I don't think you'll be able to hold it together.
Probably not.
Then we saw Wicked last night, and that was really good. Long.
Like, it's as long as the Titanic, so I was not prepared on a Friday night after being up so early in the morning on a work day to go sit and watch a 3-hour movie.
2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
That was long and a lot of singing.
It was good.
But it was really good. And then my low point was I had no power. I still have no power.
Monday.
Till Monday.
That's nuts. That's
and
almost
it went out Tuesday night.
a whole week.
Yeah. Somebody said their high point was going to Leavenworth over the weekend. And her low point was seeing all of her friends and family lose power.
Yeah.
Myself. I want to do Leavenworth.
Have you done it before?
No.
It's beautiful.
I was gonna text Bean, like, let's go to Leavenworth for Christmas. Another high point, I did good on a test, I think, and her low point was, I don't know if I did that good.
Must be a high schooler.
I'm sure you did good.
Yeah.
I almost quit my job because they're crazy sometimes. That was the low, and the high is still have a job. Brenna.
Yeah, that was me. I was like, I'm going to participate on my own podcast. But honestly, I did it on the day that my emotions were really high.
I saw it come through and I was just like, oh, I'm just having a hard time today.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to forget how I feel right now. Let me just document this and participate.
And then another was high, not sucking at a new job. And the low is it's freezing temperatures. She said, I'm a wimp. She's from the South. That's my mama.
New jobs are like a big adjustment. They're kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like unfamiliar territory.
And that's it.
All right.
And this episode, we're going to do the what if spiral.
I think we can all say that we deal with what if scenarios all the time.
Right.
And sometimes it's for the positive, but I would say on my account, usually if I'm in a what if situation, it's like a very stressful situation.
Yeah. For me, it's like my mind just starts going a million different places.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it starts with one thing and then spirals into another and another and another. And it's just this trickling effect.
Yeah.
Of what if I did this? But what if I did that? What if this didn't happen? What if?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So some questions that we have. Do you think that what ifs stem more from fear or curiosity?
For me, I would say the ones that consume me are out of fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think about the different things that I think about, and it is fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say the same. Mine are going to be mainly fear.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes I might get a wild hair
Mm-hmm.
and be like, what if I did this?
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't act on what ifs, though. And I think that's out of fear.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Or there's no certainty there.
Yep.
How do you feel? So another question is, how do you feel mentally and physically when you get into a what if spiral?
Fucking paralyzed.
Oh, that's a good way to explain.
Paralyzed emotionally. And that's when I call you.
Yeah.
And to like help me sift through this, because this is what's going on. And the most prominent one that's in my life right now is the what if of what if I'm single for the rest of my life because I have not met somebody that fits.
Right.
So as soon as I meet somebody, my brain becomes a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to immediately mentally try to puzzle their pieces into my puzzle and see, does this fit? And as soon as pieces are not aligning, I'm like, all right, this is done. This is over. I'm not even going to waste my time here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's absolutely paralyzing because there's obviously, if I'm entertaining somebody to that level, I have interest in them. Mm-hmm. So it's paralyzing that. It's very confusing. I don't know. But it's like, what if I don't meet somebody that fits my life?
I think you will. Because I think it's going to take time. I mean, it's been time, but
yeah,
there is somebody that's going to have to get your schedule and work. But then I think also you have to try not to think too far.
Yeah.
Because it is sometimes like things just fall into place.
But then it's really not just the schedule. It's like...
Well, not just the schedule, yeah, but people's like lives. Like,
yeah.
I think like one for me and Fiend is like religion. Like, what if I had just strictly went off of like that from the get, was like, no, it's never going to work.
Yeah.
But it's, there's ways to go about things, and they're not always going to be easy.
Yeah.
But it's wanting to put in the effort of trying to see how it goes.
Yeah.
And I think you always have to at least try. But there are some where it's, okay, this is just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
So those I get.
Yeah.
But to say paralyzing, that's a good way of putting it. And it's just chaotic for me.
Yeah.
And I start to get almost like a depression.
Yeah.
Of like, I don't feel like I have it all together.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So it's then I start spiraling and I start being tough on myself.
Yep.
And thinking like, what if I would have done this and that? And
yeah.
Then I start to, it's a really bad domino effect for me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I start to get in those, I just like try to shoot it down. Like, we're not doing this.
Yeah. I absolutely just hate when I get to that place of having the question of what if the scenario, whatever the scenario is, because I have the personality is I want it all figured out.
Yeah.
I want to know what's always going on. And when I'm in that situation of some type of what if spiral, I clearly don't know. I don't have the answer. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Right.
And it drives me absolutely bananas.
Yeah. And that one makes sense. If you could go back, what's one what if thought you wish you wouldn't have spent so much energy on?
I just think of the ship I was in for a long time, and a person that I was not with, but I fell in love with him, and it was a many-year spiral, and I would try to get out of it and stuff like that, but I think I wasted so much energy there of, well, what if one day this works out? What if one day things start aligning on not just my side, but his side, and I wasted a significant amount of years, tears,
Yeah.
and energy. And I think that's why experiences with like the kids as dad and that, I think that's why I'm so protective of my time,
Yeah.
because I've wasted so much of it. It's like I just don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
But that's one that I wish I wouldn't have wasted so much.
Yeah. Because time is precious.
It is.
It really is. I really can't think of one that I wasted energy on.
That's a good thing.
But I feel like I do it all the time, but I can't think of like one certain one.
What about, did you ever think you were going to be able to move out and do it on your own? Did you spin your wheels on that of what if I can't?
Yeah, I did do that. Of trying to figure it out. And I mean, shoot, when I moved out when I lived by myself, rent's always been crazy. Not
Yeah.
always, but I was able to afford it. And then when I moved out and lived with someone else, it was split.
Yeah.
And then I moved in with you, and we split, or I can't remember what it was. And then to do it go back, and girl, rent like skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell? Like a 1-bedroom, 1-bath.
Yeah.
And to be back from what we were living in Tacoma, Spanaway.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be back in Renton. And I was like, it's $2,000?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
For a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. And I was like, when I moved out, it was like $1,600.
God.
Like, that's nuts.
Yeah.
So,
It's a big jump.
but I had found a really good deal. So, yeah, I did waste a lot of energy on that. And I think that did maybe hold me back from doing it sooner.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, also, I enjoyed living with you, so I didn't feel a rush.
Yeah.
Also,
That was fun.
it was.
I love
It was
that.
like 2 years. And last night we had a slumber party,
I know.
like old times.
Woke up, made breakfast this morning,
Yeah.
like old times, turned the speaker on and danced to Disney music.
We had some errands. It was like, wow, it's like we lived together again.
Yeah. The kids enjoyed it too.
Yeah. What's your go-to strategy for stopping a spiral?
Dude, I call you every time. Every time. I'm just like, listen, as soon as I call you, you're like, what's wrong?
I can't remember what you did the other night. You were like, do you have a second? And I was like, yeah. And you're like, okay, I need you to speak some sense into me. Something like that. And I was just like, okay. Yeah, I would say I talk to you. I always talk to you. I pin things off of Fiend. But then also I shut down.
Yes.
Like, I just can't do it. And sometimes I nap.
Yeah. Shut down.
Because it's like I literally have to nap or go to sleep early.
Yeah.
Just to make my brain stop, or
Yeah.
it will fester and it will go and it'll go and it'll just drain me.
Yep.
And to where I'm tired and mentally exhausted.
Yeah.
Because my brain just won't stop.
No, I feel like I will do the same thing. You're like the only person I talk to about this stuff, but still it helps me, but it doesn't change the fact that that spiral is still very much present in that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I will shut down too. I like don't know how to channel those emotions, and I just become quiet, and I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to hang out with anybody. Because
Yeah.
it's exhausting. It's paralyzing.
Yeah. Yeah, there'll be times where it's like I can feel it take over.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, if I'm out doing stuff with people, my mind is on it.
Yep.
And it's like I can't even enjoy being in the moment
Yeah.
because my mind is elsewhere.
Yeah.
And sometimes Fiend will be like, are you okay? Like, are you mad at me? And I'm like, no. Like, And then I have to realize, like, and I'm like, no, I'm not mad at you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, now this is, my spiral is now affecting my relationship.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
But now I'm treating him differently because, and not even noticing,
Yeah.
just because I'm in my own zone.
100%.
So it's like,
And I would say, like, with some of the spirals I go through, some of them start turning inward of, like, what if I'm not good enough?
Mhm.
What if I, like, toward now it's like a personal type thing. And it's, dude, I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah.
And it's good to have a good friend at
Mhm.
that time to be able to, like, speak, like we've talked about it before, like, speak life back into you and, like, remind you
Yeah.
who you are.
Yeah. So, and for me, sometimes it takes a second
Yeah.
for me to hear the advice,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm just like, okay, like it's not
Yeah.
what I wanted to hear,
Yeah.
but it is like what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
It's like what I needed to hear, but it wasn't what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
And then it's like, shit, they're right.
Yep.
Like, and the next one was, what's a current one you're dealing with? And for me, it's work. And, you know, seeing if I want to explore other options, and grow, to try something new.
Yeah.
But I feel like and there's not a bad reason why. It's just I just want something new, I think.
Yeah.
But then I'm so comfortable, and it's almost like, is that a bad thing?
Yeah.
Because then I start thinking, like, what if I'm too comfortable and
Yeah.
I don't do this? And then I think, what if I leave my job and I go somewhere else and I hate it?
Yeah.
And it doesn't work out, and I've done the pros and cons, but I'm wrong. So it's like trying to have to find that trust myself,
Yeah.
and take the leap
But then it could
if
be.
I want to, because it's like,
Yeah.
what if it is end up being the greatest thing?
Yeah.
Or just even financially, and I just want to expand more.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I get into so much routine, and sometimes there's not a lot of challenge.
Yeah. Yep.
So just wanting.
To push yourself.
Yeah,
It's scary,
it is.
but it's
It's like we were
courageous.
just saying, like with my mom starting a new job, and it's like it is scary to be the new person.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm very shy,
Yeah.
especially meeting new people. So it's just like, I don't want to be the awkward,
Right. The new one.
the new awkward girl.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Or what if I do this job? What if I were to go anywhere else? And it's just like, what if I'm not good at it? Because I also want to try to do something I haven't done.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that smart?
I think if you're, and I don't know, but I think if you went into somewhat of things you have strengths in, to where you're not going into something that you have absolutely no skill in,
Right.
but something that you do have skill in, but it does challenge you to grow
Mm-hmm.
and expand yourself.
Yeah. And then actually another what if that I had a while ago, and I was able to push it away, and somebody messaged me today and it brought it right back, and I was just like here we go again.
What was it?
When I want to do a side business, and I pushed it away, and I was just like, oh, like it's not feasible, it's not doable.
Yeah.
And then it came, somebody saw it and sent it to me, and was just like, oh, this would be so cool. And I was like, that's something I was talking about.
Wow.
And then I was like, now I'm like,
That's a
what
sign.
if I did it? What if I did it?
Yeah.
Like, what if I just started, and if it didn't? But I'm like, do
Baby
I want to
steps.
pour the money into it and
Yeah.
it not go anywhere? Or
But you'll never know
I'll never know.
if you don't try.
I think that's, yeah.
For me, I feel like the one that I deal with the most is the one I already talked about, which is like, how's my love life gonna pan out? But that's one I deal with the most. But one that I do with occasionally, I think occasionally, I don't even know if I said that right, is what if I'm not a good enough mom? And I'll like do random check-ins. Like I know I'm a good mom,
Right.
but sometimes like I do have like very consuming thoughts of, am I doing okay? Like I know I feel like I'm doing okay, but are my kids happy? How are they feeling inside? And I try to, when I'm going through that with the kids, it gives me a lot of anxiety, and then I'm like checking in with them, and then Lexi gets mad at me because she's like, Mom, why are you asking us this? Yes, of course. And I'm just like, no. And I'm like prying for them to just have dialogue with me, to just, are you sure? Like,
Yeah.
is there anything that you feel like,
You just want the reassurance.
yeah,
Like,
that that they feel okay, that they feel like they're getting a good parent,
yeah.
and not being shortchanged in any way, and kind of harboring feelings to themselves. And they do handle me with care in those moments, because often as soon as I ask that question to them, the floodworks come, like, and I'm crying, and Lexi's like, what the hell is going on right now? And I'm like, I'm just emotional, and I'm just feeling this way, and I just need to know, like, are you guys happy? Am I doing a good job? Like, do you love your home life? Do you love everything?
Yeah.
But it's, I think comes from my childhood. Like,
Yeah.
that's where that's rooted from. Like,
Yeah.
my dad didn't know to check on me.
Check in. Yeah.
Mom wasn't there. I was just there, you know?
Right.
Nobody cared about how I felt. So I'm just like hyper aware to that stuff, and it often does send me in a spiral where
Yeah.
I'm crying.
I think it's important though to always check in with your people of, you know, how you're doing, how they're feeling.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Like back when we grew up, that wasn't like a thing really.
No.
Like we'd be crying. Like, what are you crying for?
Yeah.
Like, what do you have to cry about?
Yeah.
Like, and it's like people don't really like pay attention. Like kids have feelings and emotions.
Yep.
And one time I don't know who I was talking to, or if I read something, but she was just like, you know, sometimes my daughter will come to me and just say, Mom, like, I can't go to school today. Like, I just don't feel it. And it was just like, she says, okay.
Yeah.
And she goes, because there's days where I can't do it and I can't go to work.
Yes.
So what's it any different?
Yep.
They have feelings. They get burnt out. And why are we pushing them to have to?
Yeah.
So it's like, I think it is important to check in with kids.
This is totally off topic, but that just reminded me. I read something somewhere, or it was a video, and it was, you know how when our kids have an attitude, we're like, you better change your attitude right now. Or our kids are crying. What are you crying for? You want me to give you something to cry about? That's what my dad used to tell me. But yet, when I have an attitude, I can't just turn my attitude off.
They don't get to tell you, why do you have an attitude?
Right.
You better change your attitude.
Yes. And if I'm crying, somebody can't just be like, stop fucking crying. Like, there's a process to kind of get out of that. And that just reminded me of that, of like, quit having those type of expectations for your kids when you don't even have those expectations for your damn self.
Yeah.
But
And I do get the part though also is like they don't have the stress that we do. Like adults have, you know.
right. But
Like,
they do, it's different.
it's a different
Yeah.
stress, like friends and school and sports and all that.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, you want to throw some bills on there? But that's funny. No, I think it is important to check in with kids.
Yeah.
We can end with some silly and fun what ifs, since everything doesn't have to be so dark and depressive.
I mean, yours weren't totally like that, but I'm like, all my what ifs are like
Mine were.
sad.
Mine was. I'm like, okay. If you could live in a different area, oh, I already know this question for you to answer. You would.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. What if you could live in a different area?
I totally would. I want to live where there's palm trees and where there's sun and heat more times of the year than this shit Washington has going on. I'm just a sunshine girl.
Yeah, I would. I want to be in the sun. If I could live in like Arizona, where it's fucking 116 degrees.
God, I just got goosebumps.
Like that's. I just remember when we went to Arizona, and I just know it'll never happen because Fiend hates the heat.
God.
And I was just like, this feels so good. He's like dying. He's like, no, this is too hot. I could never do this. It is crazy getting in a car though. Like if you had to get in at 116 degrees, like the car was like 130 inside.
Wow.
Like you could never just get in and like go. Like what if you're running late?
Yeah.
You're burning.
Or you just also have to be aware to not have a car with leather seats unless you're going to put a blanket down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What if you woke up with a superpower? If I could wake up with a superpower, I'd want to fly. I'd want to get somewhere in instant time because you know how much time that would save me when I'm running late.
Yeah,
to
that's
everything.
true.
It's
Mine-
like, oh, okay, I'm done. I'm there.
Yeah.
I don't have to drive anywhere.
And you'd see really cool shit.
Do you see anything?
Like you'd be up high.
If you're instant,
Oh, you're talking about like Flash.
yeah, like I'm getting ready, done. I'm there. Now I'm with my snap. I'm now in.
Okay, so your superpower is not flying, it's speed.
Sure.
That's what mine was going to be. Speed.
Like I can just be somewhere. Teleport.
Yes. I don't know. That sounds right. I think it's right.
Like I can just be there. Because I'm always late.
You just
to
snap.
Shit. I'm always late to shit. And then I'm like, fuck, I gotta fucking drive. Like, I gotta get there.
Yeah.
And then I gotta look up and I'm like, oh, there's traffic. Now they're gonna be even more mad.
Yeah.
Bean's waiting for me.
He's like, what is going on?
I know.
Mine would be like to maybe have more hands, more than two hands, to just like do multiple things at the time, because I always am, time is limited and I always have so much shit to do, and just 8 hours at work when I come home to hurry up, get dinner done, get laundry changed, get this. Okay, now we're headed off to basketball. And then like, can I just reach everywhere and just have
Or
it?
just like clone yourself.
Yes.
So you can have someone here cooking
Yes.
while you're at basketball with Papa.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I have somebody doing laundry.
Yeah.
Somebody doing dishes.
It's the.
Hey, Brenna did the laundry. Brenna, go
You're
to
all
Safeway.
setting all the timers for him. You're like 4:30 start laundry. Laundry Brenna starts. Cooking Brenna starts.
That would be amazing. Oh my God.
If animals could talk, what would your pet say about you?
Bowie would just be like, you guys love me and you spoil me. And
He's currently wrapped at our feet in the cords,
Yeah.
asleep.
yeah, he's just,
Not a care in the world.
he's a whole bougie baby. And he would say he loves this life.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. And he would tell me, Mom or Grandma, tell Papa to stop harassing me. Because my son is just...
Lexi today was like, he flipped him. He tried to flip him. And she was like, Lexi was like, you hurt him. And then Papa was like, grabbed him. And he was trying to cuddle with him. I was like, he's scared of you. You tried to kill him. He started laughing.
But Bowie just like tolerates him. And you see how he lays with him.
Yeah.
But he would say good, happy things.
Yeah.
What about you?
What pet?
I don't know. You've had pets before.
I've had pets. Oh, yeah. I was like, what pets? Yeah, the dog. He would have said I loved her. Take me with you.
Oh.
And I would if I could. I'd go back and kidnap that dog.
And
But-
give him a better life. Okay, that was probably too far. Sorry. No limits, girl.
Ooh, what if you had unlimited money for a day? How would you spend it?
I would
That's hard.
ask my kids.
I would do everything.
Well, you're limited on time. So I would ask my kids.
24 hours. I wouldn't even sleep.
You're all.
I only have it for a day. I'm staying up for 24 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm flying places to fly back.
You're all flying somewhere. Just say, I've been here and I had lunch and now I'm on the next flight to the next city to eat there and have a root beer float.
I'd help people. My family, friends. Oh, I'd buy a house.
Yeah.
Buy a new car.
Yeah.
But it's only for a day.
Yeah.
So I can't be going crazy.
That's a hard.
Like I can't go buy $1 million car because my money's only unlimited for a day. Because now I got to make $1 million. Oh, I got to pay it off.
Yeah.
I just pay it in full.
Yeah.
But that insurance.
Mine would be, I would ask my kids, like, we have 24 hours. What are 2 things that are on your bucket list that we could accomplish within 24 hours?
Mm-hmm.
And, all right, let's go.
Can I just get a number and cash it out?
I don't know.
And then I just have that money.
Well, then my question
Because
is,
then after that, it's limited.
do we get to know what day the funds become available in advance so we can actually plan a trip if we wanted to?
True.
But I would just say, as far as those of you that watch our podcast, one, know that spirals are normal. They're natural.
Oh, yeah.
We're human. Like, you're not alone if you're dealing with it. I would say, though, if you're spiraling, to reach out and find somebody that you trust to, like, help you kind of navigate that and have a support system, because that shit's hard.
Yeah.
It's super hard.
And finding healthy ways to get out of them.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah. There was a question that I read is, how do you determine when you're spiraling, like what's a good spiral to like engage with, and what's one that you know you need to like get out of? And I would say my answer to that would be, as soon as it starts making you feel negative or look down on like yourself or your being or your worth, or you're incapable or anything like that, like that's when I would say that's when you don't entertain those thoughts and you like you try to get out of that spiral and seek a confidant to help you with that.
Right.
But like the spirals you're talking about, moving forward, moving your future, setting yourself up, those are the ones you do want to entertain.
Yeah.
And because those could be positive outcomes. They could be both, but like it's more better for you to think positively about those type of things.
Yeah.
I think that's all we have for today. As far as this, we hope you're all doing well when you're spiraling.
Yes.
Because it's not a fun journey often. But thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. And we will see you next week. And don't forget to submit your high point, low points when we post it.
Yes.
See you later.
Bye.